Equipment, we installed new posting boxes in the parks for everybody. Road maintenance, patch, Needham and Creek Road. And another road getting ready for the patching that's gonna go on, the resealing that's gonna go on. Completed additional road patching. Repaired several broken signs around the township. Cleaned out the culverts and the three tubes down there in Collie a couple times. And, seasonal work, we mowed the roadside ditches and then it just a general mowing around the township and the cemeteries and the weed eating. And then, did general maintenance in the shop. Shop cars, in the truck.
And you had it looking great. Good job.
I've got a question, two of them. How long did it take you to do your first mowing? How many days?
For the ditches?
Yeah.
I
About.
think it took Scott 4 days.
And then, about at some point in the next month or two, I would like some training for you and Scott, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Get it scheduled.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Was it Dan?
No.
Thanks.
Good job.
Okay, fire department, please.
Oh, good evening. For the month of June, we had a total of 33 calls. They're listed before you there in the notes. One thing of note in the notes is that we've added a new category, which is safety assist. Previously, everything else that doesn't fit into a specific category. And with our aging populace, lift assists are becoming more and more prevalent, so we want to make sure that we designate them as a. So just an item of note there. The practice for the month of June was rural lighting. We took our apparatus to the park and set up a sleeper fill, which basically consists of two pumps that pull water from the creek. And so hose it and we take that either in use it to fill portable tanks on the ground, or in this case, used it to fill an engine and would sustain a large flow from the creek at over 250 gallons per minute. So it's a worthwhile training. As you know, we don't have established water supplies in most of the townships, so we have to bring the water with us. And in certain cases, we have to go get it ourselves. It's not in a place that's readily accessible in certain instances. And so we make sure that we train to adapt to get water from whatever sources we can find.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, thanks, Chief. You're up. Police department, please.
Okay, another good crowd tonight. Appreciate y'all coming out. June 26th, we had 218 calls for service, bringing our year-to-date to 1,176. We had 158 traffic stops with 134 municipal citations written, 54 written warnings. No non-traffic criminal arrests were made at all. We ended up doing 4 OWI grants, 3 speed grants, and 4 seatbelt grants over the month of June. Speed trailer deployments were on East Creek Road and LT Town Line, East Bus Road, and near Schroeder and East Church Streets, where it is currently. Special events for Chaupier Days Festival 2026. We again were the primary agency for public safety at that event, and we are proud to be that. We had no issues other than a few disorderly individuals later in the evening, and then the International Turtle Embassy Airport grass was damaged, and I believe later after the festival, sometime one ran over the that's being addressed. We took training on window pet enforcement certification, which the Rock County Sheriff's Office posted. Every year we have to get 24 hours of continued education, and that worked into that. Department hours, I worked 18 hours last month. It was a strenuous month last month. Sergeants were 219 and a half hours, which Show Pier Day Festival hours are included in that. Show Pier Days had quite a few things I want to recognize actually happened at it. So if you will, Sergeant Brandel, he's been with us a couple of years. He's one heck of an asset to the community. In fact, he just recently decided to stay with the town and the community where he has grown up and declined invite to be a Secret Service agent with the United States government.
Wow.
So we are lucky to have him as a community. Overall, what happened on Show Pier Days Friday night, he drove a subject that he had observed entering a vehicle that we had dealt with earlier. This guy was intoxicated. He had mental illness. All his actions were odd to everybody. We dealt with them. We were able to get voluntary compliance and understanding from them until late at night after the festival had closed. Sergeant Brandel, I had gone home. Officer Liga in the back there, he had gone home. Sergeant Brandel was walking to his car. He saw this gentleman getting into his car, heavily intoxicated. Sergeant Brandel approached him, talked to him, communicated, and was able to give him a ride home. And he did so in his personal car. That is a rare and special kind of police work that you can't now. Fireworks and stuff are not have a flagpole because this flag actually adorned the flag in the direction, and with the assistance of Sergeant Brandel, they found the flag in the highway department building and went and raised that flag proudly above Sweet Allen Park for the festival and all the visitors and attendees. He also donated his UTV for use during that festival that we use for high visibility patrol, which is the force multiplier and deters a lot of problems when you have 6,000 and 7,000 people a night like we had this year, thanks to the nice weather. He donated emergency red and blue lighting to the fire department. And not only did he do that, he actually installed those lights on the fire trucks free of charge to the township. Officer McIntosh, he observed a woman struggling walking around the roadside to her parked vehicle. She had plunged, she had received a recent injury, and she was suffering as she was walking. Officer McIntosh stopped while he was on regular patrol for the high visibility patrol and asked her if she needed assistance and would like a ride. He was using one of the two-seater UTVs that are donated by farmers for our use during the festival. We outfit them with red and blue emergency lights for high visibility, and we appreciate that cooperation and just that friendship with the farmers to actually use those vehicles. They help out greatly, especially in instances like this. He gave her a ride to her car. She later told me, and I had witnessed it, she later told me and wanted to tell me the story about what Officer McIntosh had done for her. Another thing came in on Saturday morning after the first day of the festival. We had a call left on a voicemail for the police department. This festival left his fly fishing tube somewhere on the creek bed. Was hoping that maybe he turned it in. Officer McIntosh took it upon himself, surveyed the creek bed, found that tube, still had his price tag on it, $698. Who would have known? And recovered that for the gentleman and got it back to him, all on his own initiative there. Officer Liga in the back there. He made contact with a disabled person who was exhausted, struggling, walking with a prosthetic leg. He was on foot at the time, and he was only equipped with a four-wheel ATV that we used nearby. It didn't have a dual seat. But he arranged for Sergeant Brandel to bring one of the two-seat UTVs down and actually give this gentleman a ride to his vehicle. The citizen was grateful and no longer suffering from having to walk to his vehicle all the way up at the airport RC park from down at the carnival. These are just some of the incidents of the three-day festival. We walked nearly 20,000 steps each day. We were waving, shaking hands. We smiled, we talked. We laughed with so many people from the town, the surrounding cities, towns and villages, along with folks from Ireland and abroad. We had people request to take selfies with us from Mexico and abroad. I'm proud of the agency that leads this community and protects you every day. We not only strive for professionalism, but each and every one of our police officers are great humans at heart. It is an honor to work alongside the officers of your department. Thank you to each and every one of them and to the community for all the support you provide for our agency. It is our goal to make you proud and to strengthen the trusted bond that has joined our agency with the community. Another thing and last note here. Last year, we started a tradition in the township. Nickelodeon supported it and sent us out swag, for this. It's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles prize raffle that we attending this Shakopee Days Festival. This year, we were unable to get a hold of anyone at Nickelodeon, so we took it upon ourselves to purchase the prizes for the same raffle, being the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles raffle for the giveaway. It was $85, well spent and already budgeted in our supplies. It was the same as handing out stickers or candy. Yet it means more to the kids because they have an opportunity to come up and interact with the police officers, say a phrase from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by saying "Cowabunga, officer," and get into a raffle to win a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle prize. The Ninja Turtles are specific to us and the relationship with Nickelodeon because we're a small department made up of 4 officers and a leader, just like the Ninja Turtles. It was a successful program this year with nearly 100 entries, and it was witnessed on and on again by a group that was cooking down there in the carnival area, Fire and Iron. They immediately on site voted to fund this tradition and this program for our youth of the community and the attendees at Shakopee Days Festival for the next several years. So we are grateful to them for that, because it's positive interactions with youth and law enforcement. And if you do not already know, please follow us on our Facebook page, the Town of Turtle Police Department. We put out a lot of positive information along with a lot of educational material on it, as well as alerts like weather and for community crime sprees, if there are any, rarely here. We encourage everyone to go to that page, like, follow, and share it. It's the only thing I know about Facebook. But thanks again for coming out. I appreciate you all.
Just have, I think it was this about traffic speeding up in the all 3D area, and I wonder what's it take to get some, what we need to go through to get some speed limits posted up.
Is Tree still a private road?
It's our,
Is ours now? Okay, that would be on the highway department to post whatever speed limit you want to post on it. I think, historically it's 25 miles an hour.
I think we need to create an ordinance and that street is 25. Or am I mistaken about that?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's just a town road that's inherited. I think you can post whatever your minimum town road is for your residences on that. You know, I'm already working with the county highway department and, have gotten a couple phone calls from them on reducing the speed past the Tall Trees development that's going on and putting a 4-way stop in at Butterfly, J, and, at Shakopee there where it comes together to kind of create a little bit of a downtown feel to that area and slow people down with the increased traffic we'll have from the houses that are going up. I think they've even had a few more house sales there, but that's already in the works to be done. As far as a town road, right? I mean, it's your town, you can post it, whatever speed limit you think it should be at that time. 25, I think for the residences is more than, adequate. But that's for you guys to make that decision.
Perhaps we get that on the agenda next month. And make it efficient, so if there's any question,
Whatever you do, we'll watch it and we'll take appropriate enforcement.
Anybody else? Thanks, chief.
All right, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Other notices this time. Yep, there is plenty of cash moves to next Monday, Wednesday on the 15th at 7 at this time. Remain the plan. Wisconsin Council, which usually wouldn't be picnic is July 16th at 7 p.m. Municipal Court, August 5th, 6 p.m. Person primary election will be August 7th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you can visit the election tab at www.towntotal.gov for important dates. Town board meeting is August 12th at 7 p.m. I guess it's item number 8. Those folks that are wishing to speak this evening, we don't have some speech up there sign up. So the order that folks asked to speak. Things got a little loud and a little raucous last month. So I'm to be patient. I'm going to ask folks to be respectful. I'm going to ask you that when someone speaks, you don't need applaud. You don't need a cheerleading section. If things get out of hand, I will ask the chief to escort folks out who can't contain themselves, and they go out in the parking lot. Or here to conduct business. We want to hear what folks' concerns are. But we're asking that folks be respectful of one another. With that, citizen comment. First one is Jacob, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, excuse me, Jacob. Sir, request was made for the board to be able to make comment, every public comment. So I apologize for that, Jacob. Go ahead.
I'll go first, but I'm assuming some other board members want to talk. So we find ourselves in a very bizarre situation, right? Never in my wildest dreams did I think that we would be having what we have, but we do. And people think it is very easy, because I looked at some of your social posts. It's easy to just say no. It's not that easy when you're sitting up here. Because we're looking at Turtle as a whole. So I had someone call me today and said, just say yes, I live there. And I'd rather have you on the land than the city of Beloit. Annexing us. So that's also something that we have to be very concerned with, is the annexation, which can happen. And we can hire attorneys, we would lose. So as people from Turtle tonight get up here, and you understand that, and maybe some of the other things that the people say, I want to hear from you. The board needs to hear from you. Do you not care about the annexation? What is it that you want? And that's important for us to know. And I can't swear that even if we went through with this and we said to Panattoni, yes, we want to do this, that the city wouldn't annex anyways. So it's a mess. And we're trying, I would say every single person up here is trying to do the best we can. And if it looked like we were doing things under the table, yeah, Roger signed that, but he would have signed that even if it would have been STE, because that's how we did business. That's how we've been doing business. Now, is that going to change in the future? Darn right. We can't do that. But the rest of it, you know probably about as much as we know. And that's the truth of the matter. It's very complex. The last 6 weeks, I've done research. And it's not an easy thing to just say, yes, I know. Anybody else?
I'd just like to kind of follow up with what Chris said. The annexation threat is very real down there. No matter which way it goes. I got a full call from an individual like Chris did that lives right there. And they would rather have Turtle have a voice with the developers than trying to go to the city as a Turtle resident and have a voice. There's a cross reimbursement thing on the agenda later tonight. And I've been back and forth on this thing all the time. I still don't, I'm not a big fan of taking their money. I think it's not what I'd like to do. It's not what I prefer to do. But beware, Turtle residents, if we don't do that, the bills are still rising. The costs are running. And it's going to take research, it's going to take skilled attorneys to come up with language in our ordinance to be able to say no. It would take the same thing to say yes. So we turn the money down of November when it's time to do the budget and you see a way bigger number in consultants or attorneys. Hope that you'll be there to support paying that bill because we're all this group in the town of Turtle on the hook for that, regardless how this goes. That's all I have for now.
I would reiterate,
the point of Tim and Chris, it has been a very soul searching situation. I take very serious what the residents of Turtle had to say. We're here to serve you. We're trying to do our best. As Tim and Chris have reiterated, it is very difficult. Because we see what Beloit's past history has been, and I don't know, I can't say they will, I can't say they won't. Past history is indicative that they like to take as much as the town of Turtle as they can. I had it pointed out to me that previous administrations were very diligent 25, 30 years ago, establishing a boundary line agreement. They went through a lot of pain and suffering to get that done. I think Bill, were you on that board at that time? And Tim also, and they can shed more light on that. Beloit wants to move west. They want to increase their coffers. It's something that we fight and we try to prevent from happening as much as we can, because ultimately it's all about rooftops. It helps equal tax dollars, and then it works that way. This is a big tax dollar grab potentially. Am I saying they will do it? I don't know. I cannot speak for the city of Beloit on what they will or they will not do. Past history is indicative that if that opportunity comes, they will take it. Just based on how they've done things. The decision tonight is very, very difficult, because if we vote no on this, well, then that will open up the doorway for Beloit to step in, annex the property, and nobody in the resident of town of Turtle will really have a voice on anything. Am I saying if I vote yes on the proposal today to accept funding for this, it's a bitter pill. It truly is, but it alleviates the town of Turtle's costs to hire lawyers, hire hydrologists, hire environmental studies. That, in the scope of what this money will do, will give us something that we can spend their money to either prove issues that are concerns of everybody here, or prove issues right. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but they do fund those issues for us to do that. The burden upon the taxpayers is probably going to be anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million to deal with this. I know as we've gone through with past tax hikes and everything, it's a pain on all of us. Do I want that to go out and be a pain on everybody because we do vote no today? They can still come in. Just because we vote no will not stop them to come to planning and zoning. It will not stop them, because it's their right as a business to try to come into our town and to develop a business and build it there. If we vote no tonight, we have no resources or very limited resources to do the studies, to prove them wrong, to do anything else that we need to do to take help and be as informed as well we possibly can on this subject. I will admit it is very, very hard, and I feel like I'm very astute. I can navigate and research, and it drives me to find out information. My personal problem with data centers is the information is not clear or against. And if anybody can shed better factual, proper, true data, I'm a data-driven individual. Show me the data. Show me the data for the negatives. Show me the data for the positives. This is the beginning of finding the data. And that data, then we will look at and we will now analyze it. And maybe it is we pull some people out of the ground, and or pull some people that don't have the very positive opinion of data centers. We want to hear that voice. We want to hear it. We need to hear everybody's voice. And we need to hear it in a very respectful, positive manner. And even if I say a positive manner on something that you want to vote no, it's still, we need to be a productive, positive group and come to a consensus as a whole Is this right? Is it not right? That's all we have, is we're trying to do the best for the town of Turtle, because we sit up here day in and day out, and our love is for the town of Turtle and what's best for the town of Turtle. It's not about the money, it's not about taxes, it's about what's right for Turtle. And our fear is if we turn our back on this data center, then there is going to be somebody that wants that location and they will build one there. And if we are not at that table, as Roger likes to say, we like to have a seat at the table. If we turn our back, we have no seat. We are along for the ride, every one of us. Am I concerned about it? Yes. I live 3 miles a crow flight from it. My premonition this morning is, okay, if they use a lot of water, is my boat going to go dry? I have those same thoughts. I'm not saying I don't. I previously, 2 weeks ago, I was down in Zion, Illinois. I was going through a processing facility. And we talked about, the gentleman talked about data centers randomly, had nothing to do with data centers, but they wanted to use biomass to fuel a data center. And then he started talking about plant downtime. He says, oh yeah, we gotta be down every 18 months for water use. Does anybody have an idea how much water a day this plant uses? Nobody does. They drive by it every day. They use 23 million gallons of water a day. They wear their casing on the well out every 18 months. Do the math. That's 900 million a year they use water that nobody bats an eye. They drive by it every day and they don't have concern. Am I concerned about the water usage? Yes, I am. Do I hear way high numbers? Yes, I do. Do I hear way low numbers? Yes, I do. Part of what we would look at and what we're bringing for approval is to find the hydrologist, to get the data, to find out what is the true story. That's all we want to do. We want to do and serve the people of Turtle the best we can do and make that decision. And we want to take and hear everybody's voices and take it into consideration. So hopefully we can all work this together. And in the end, we may find out, no, this is not good, and we walk away. That decision will be made down the road. But it is the ways down the road. But today's decision is just to help to get funding, even though it's coming from the individuals that want to put the proposal forth. We just want to get the funding to help take some of that financial burden off the taxpayers. Amen.
So I'd have the privilege of being chairman of the board for 17 years. And in that 17 years, I've used the skills from my previous employment that I still use today. For 50 years, I've been a bargainer. And I'm a pit bull. I know what they're gonna say at my funeral. Some are gonna say he was an a-hole, and the rest are gonna say, yes, he was. Okay, and I don't always use the most orthodox methods. When I go in one person, that's to represent the people that I represent. 1 million members I represented, and I've brought those same skills to represent this town. And I've been empowered by this board to represent this town, to fight the city for annexation, time after time after time. We that own property in the town, and we were in a fight with the city, and they kept their property off the market until we were fighting with the city. That cost them money out of their pocket. And they did that for this town because they know that we're in a fight. We were in a fight with the city under 208 water quality, where they use that as a method to steal our rooftops. Because to use the sewer that we paid for with our federal dollars, they have an ordinance that says you have to annex in. It's wrong. And we've argued. I was with Bill Brewer at Big Hill Park years ago with Lucifer, Larry Lucifer. And the argument was about, consolidating and regionalizing. And the question came up about that. And Bill said, look, we already paid for that. We should be able to use it. That's a way they can steal rooftops. We lost the case not long ago. That one of the folks was a resident, wanted to annex his property into the city so that he could make more money on his property. We didn't have any opposition to that, but we wanted to sit down and talk to the city about it. The city went to the DOA, and the DOA sided with them. It was 200 feet away, but they said it was contiguous. Contiguous is to touch. 200 feet away. And we lost that. So if you think that it's gonna be a struggle for them to go 70 feet across Phil Howard Road, it's not. We have an opportunity to do our investigation on somebody else's money, and I'm all in on taking that money. We try to run a tight ship. We're among the lowest tax towns in the entire county. There might be one tax lower than us. And that's because of the diligence this board. We went to the folks in this community and said, we need some more money for roads. And they gave it to us. And we're still among the lowest in the entire county. It's a struggle every day. And if they can come and steal a spoonful of dirt, they're gonna do it. I sat in a meeting with Tim Kopp, with the city manager and the president of the council, when Larry Arf said, you have to understand our position. The town of Turtle and the town of Beloit are nothing but leeches. You use our roads, you use our businesses, you even use our river. And as far as I'm concerned, he said, as far as I'm concerned, the city of Beloit should own the town of Turtle and the town of Beloit. That's how they feel about annexation. And if you think for a minute that they get the opportunity, that they're gonna stumble or stutter, don't think it, because they pulled every maneuver in the book. The thing they have that we don't have is they have money for staff, for attorneys. They can study every angle. And they did. When they gave us a 5-year boundary line agreement, because we finally said, we'll agree to the BT highway, they said, we'll give you a 5-year boundary line agreement. They gave us something they couldn't give us because they can't approve, because the DOA had to, and they knew it. They didn't even give us the sleeves out of their vest. So when it comes down to we have an opportunity to have a seat at the table and protect our constituents, do we take that seat or don't? Well, it's a simple matter for me. I'm not going to give up that seat. Whether it's a data center or what it is, I'm not going to give up my voice, my ability to take on the city or whoever wants to come after us. At one point in time, most folks probably won't be able to embrace a lot of this. The county had talked about countywide assessing. That they do all the assessing, and then when folks had a problem, they could simply go to the town, the local town, the town board if they had a problem. If you want to do the countywide assessing, you take on the problems. We're not going to have you do the assessing and then drop your problems that you created in our life. So when we get to the portion in the agenda where we talk about the cost reimbursement agreement, it's pretty obvious where I'm at. It's not about the money, it's about the seat at the table. I have an entire list that I will go through, and which is not an inclusive list of items that most of us don't know a damn thing about. We're going to have to hire attorneys. We're going to have to hire consultants. We're going to have to hire hydraulics. I don't know what we're going to have to hire because I don't know how much I don't know about it. But we got to have a seat at the table exercise. And then very unfair to everybody in this room that wants to make a comment, because I've given the board their leave. I did not time them. I'll apologize in advance. I wanted the board to be able to have their say. I'm going to try and hold folks to their 90 seconds. If you need a few more seconds to finish a point, I'll give you that leave. Just asking you to be respectful. I'm not asking for any applause with the board. I just ask that everybody hold your comments if you could. Well, that's enough. I don't ever give them that Jacob. Never brought the Jacob.
My name is Jacob Rodriguez. I am represent the company at 301 Northwest BR Town Line Road in Beloit. Companies we were at the land sure produced the most people here today. Our company is represented by a family that operated in this area for generations. We take our responsibility as landowners seriously. And we have done a significant amount of work before we got to today, vetting the proposed development, as well as the developer that's here with us today. We think, and the proposal that we'll eventually see, which is even tonight, is a great opportunity for the town and the surrounding community to get a number of things, including a significant financial investment through the tax base, both for the town, the schools, the county, and everything that goes with that. It also will provide significant amount of construction jobs. We've worked with the developer to ensure that those jobs will be done by local companies represented by the local unions, some of who are represented in this room today. And we're proud to have that. I would just like to know, and I know we have a very astute board here. That, all we're talking about tonight is reimbursement acres. If you want, you have the opportunity to have the developer take back those fees that you already discussed. So thank you for stealing my thunder there. After that, if we were to do that, at some point they will come forward when they're ready with a proposal of what they're going to do. And by all means, you should ask all of your questions, get everything on the table. I'm sure you have a list of them already, and your professional people can help with that. So we just wanted to come forward because we haven't done that formally yet as a landowner and say we're behind this and say that we're asking for your support to look at the facts of this situation. Not all necessarily the noise, because there are some things online and in the local press that are not facts in our opinion. So take a look at the facts, ask those when that's time. But today, just think about all you're looking for is to improve a reimbursement agreement that allows you, as some of you noted, that the town and the residents don't incur costs to look at this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Nicole Selmer. Sure. Thank you.
My name is Nikki Sellner, 2407 East Bell Howard Road, Beloit. My family is with me. This is my daughter, Redden, who's 5, Joey's 9, and my daughter's 15. We live exactly half a mile from where the status center will be. After hearing all the environmental concerns, noise pollution, light pollution, my house potentially flooding, the numerous things I get bombarded on my social media. It's all scary, but the biggest thing that scares me is the potential for cancer, especially since I'm seeing rates go up as high as 67% for childhood cancer and leukemia. I'm giving you some data. It's only one piece of information. There are numerous pieces of information if you're looking for it online about all these data centers and what they are causing down the line. Turner schools are within 1 to 2 miles. There are over 1,600 children that attend Turner School District, pre-K to grade 12. There's a lot of kids that are going to be affected if this goes through. So I appreciate you telling us a little bit of your concerns. I wish we could hear more of what you're hearing on your side. Because all we hear is bad. I don't see any good at all, especially when it comes to our family and the potential for cancer. Sleep is a big thing. Noise disturbance when you already suffer from just simple migraines to whatever numerous health concerns we have. Sleep is huge. So I kind of shortened down my speech just a little bit after hearing you guys. I do think that if you ask me personally, would I rather have Lloyd come take over your land or have a data center? I'm going to vote no on data center every day of the week. I won't be able to sell my house and I'll be stuck where there's probably cancer. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Folks, I'm going to ask again, and we were freed from applause and cheerleading. Melody Clark.
My name is Melody Clark, 4308 East County Road S here in Turtle. I'm not sure that there's anything that I can say. It's very clear that you've already made a decision on tonight's topic of data centers. But what I can say is that fear is a hell of a thing, and entering into one evil because you fear another isn't always the right answer. We saw from last month's meeting that every single person who spoke last month, during the citizen comment portion of the meeting spoke out against data centers. And it was more than clear that the public does not want the town of Turtle entering into any sort of agreement with a data center developer. As you said, you are our town board. You are our elected officials. You represent us. You have heard and will continue to hear
from all of us that we do not want a data center in our backyard. You mentioned due diligence and that you wanted to do your due diligence, but due diligence implies that there's a want or a need for a specified outcome. You already know that there's no want or need for this. We don't want a data center. Your constituents do not want that. I respectfully request that you listen to us.
Thank you. Gail Burton.
Bill Perkins, 5120 East County Road S. You know, those few minutes you guys took up there is the first time I think I've seen any concern for this community coming out of that board since I got involved a couple months ago. And it made everything I wanted to say kind of go out the window, but the lady that just was up here, you all know that this supposed 80% of our community is all for this reimbursement, and 80% of this community is all for a data center. It's false. We're not for it. And, you know, I just moved my 80-year-old mother into this community, and she lives right down the road, which puts them closer to this than me. And it doesn't matter developer or not, you know, yes, the Kennedys have been here a long time, you know, so haven't a lot of us. And for you guys to, I appreciate what you just said up here. And that threw me for a loop. Bill, I wish you would have said something. I really do. Yeah, but I do believe that, you know, talking with the board members I spoke with, I really believe you've already made up your mind. You've already made up your mind, and that is a disappointment. But on the other side of the fence, you know what? I also talked to a couple other board members about what somebody else said. Why don't you all put a meeting together for the town of Turtle residents to come talk to you? Listen to what they have to say. Because these meetings that you've just shut everybody off on, closed us down to 90 seconds. I've been to many of these.
By the way, you're way over 90 seconds.
I'm sorry. And I appreciate that, Roger. The long story short, you guys should put a meeting together and let us come talk to you. Let it be the town board residents that come and talk to you. So I think you've already made up your mind, which is a Pandora's box that you're gonna open, and it won't get closed. Thank you, Roger.
Kathy Johnny. Okay.
Hi, my name is Kathy Piccioni. I live at 5120 East County Road S in town of Turtle. I also had something prepared for this evening, but now that's kind of all moot at this point. After hearing what you all had to say, I do understand your concerns and what your concerns are for us in this community. My question is now, if all of these all the things that you're going to be doing, paying for to have testing done, or all these surveys and these types of things done, what happens if you come back with results on all of these things, or things that are going to negatively impact our community? Will that be something that at that time that you will consider trying to stop this from happening, or are you going to continue forward and allowing all of this to go forward, especially like with what that other lady said? We have schools very close by. Rock Road should be considering this as well, what it's doing to the community. I realize it's a lot of money, so money speaks louder than people usually. I also believe, because I've lived in the city of Beloit, I've lived in the town of Beloit, and I now live in the town of Turtle. I've been here my whole life. I think we should all band together, honestly, in city of Beloit, town of Beloit, Turtle Township, everybody. Tax money means nothing when you are risking the lives of all of your people and your water and your energy and all the things that can go wrong here. This is a big problem. So, and I think Rock Road should consider that too. These are people's lives you're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you. Done. Is it Jamie or Janice Nord? Maybe? I haven't got a clue. And which show was that year's backup? There it is.
This is Jerry, maybe.
Okay, well, we're gonna move on then. Garrett Harway.
Good evening. Name's Garrett Howard from 612 Cambridge, Janesville, Wisconsin. I'm the Assistant Business Manager of IBW Local 890 and the President of the Southern Wisconsin Building Trades Council, representing hundreds of skilled electricians and skilled trades in the area. From a labor and economic standpoint, this project could be a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Project of this scale will create hundreds of good community construction jobs over 5 to 7 years, not weeks, not months. That kind of sustained work builds, supports families, builds long-term careers, and creates real opportunity for apprentices entering the trades. These are careers that allow people to stay in the area, raise families here, and contribute to the community long-term. Beyond construction, data centers require ongoing maintenance, upgrades, and expansion. Much of electrical and mechanical work continues for decades. They also drive investment in power, broadband, and water infrastructure that benefits the entire area and strengthens our ability to attract future employers. I urge everyone to have an open mind while continuing to learn about the project to see what it can bring to the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sue Fugate.
Sue Fugate, 2771 South Beacon Drive in the neighboring community, Beloit Township. Unfortunately, we've had to learn a lot about this topic. And one of the things I did learn was that in Wisconsin law, under section 66.0415 of Wisconsin statute, the common council or village board may regulate, license, or prohibit the location, management, or construction of any industry, thing, or place where any nauseous, offensive, or unwholesome business is carried out. And I have copies of that statute for you. The second thing I did in my research on this topic of a data center is go to the county and find the reclamation plans on file for Rock Road. It seems to me that that reclamation would be required before there'd be any transaction, any sale of the land. This is a commitment on the part of Rock Road. Once you're done with your mining, you reclaim according to the plan, and that will take at least a year. And what I guess I'm asking this board to do is take that time, learn what you can, wait till the reclamation plan is finalized, done, blessed off on, and then consider all the options that are available for. And then the third thing is a letter from one of my, I guess, rock members. And there's one letter for each of you. It's her reasoning why she would oppose this. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Matt Eisen. Hope I did okay with that.
Matt Eisen, 10515 North Rockwood Drive, Edgerton. I'm a 29-year member of the operating engineers, and I'm in favor for this to help my brothers and sisters. And, I guess.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Heather Schneider.
I'm Heather Schneider, 5610 East Freedom Lane, so I am a Turtletown resident. I actually didn't know if I wanted to speak tonight, but I just wanted to point out a couple things. One is, I actually feel terrible for the whole group of you. You are having to face something that I'm sure none of you ever did, right? We're all using the word data center, but what we're talking about is the 5th largest hyperscale data center in the nation, trying to come to our tiny little township. We moved here, I'm a country girl, born and raised in the country, and we moved here because it is a small town. And so to take on an industry, to take on a builder, to take on a project that is being led by people who have so much experience, so much knowledge, so much, they've got money behind them and lawyers and everything. And we have our, board trying to even learn what this is about and then figure out like, what do we do about this? We don't have ordinances in place to protect our township because we never expected anything like this to show up. So my heart goes out to you. I think you're in a horrible position and I feel really sorry that we are even facing this. That being said, I am very against this. Husband is traveling for work and he actually sent me this and just said he would love you to look at the room and think about when's the last time you ever saw a room like this. Last time the room was full as well. Everybody was against it, right? It's crossing party lines. Everybody is unified against this other than, we're hearing from some of the union people who aren't local residents. Of course, it's a few years of construction jobs, but then that's gone and we have this. One of my questions to you would be, have we talked about what happens if this gets paused mid-build? What happens at the end of life, right? This is not an issue we will face. You won't face, I won't face, but our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren are going to face this monstrous, humongous, beyond our imagination, large facility that will have no other purpose. And at some point is going to no longer be functional, just like GM was in Jamestown. That was a huge community or much larger community that had a monstrous cleanup project. What would we do, right? So I just really, one other quick thing, my 18-year-old he's about to be 18. He is going to be emailing you. He had to work tonight. He has very strong opinions about this that are, I would just really love, if you have your emails on, he's going to be emailing you, please read those because he would like you to hear his thoughts too.
Donna Reddick.
Donna Redner, 4900 East County Road West, Beloit, Wisconsin. I want to thank you all for finally coming out and telling us how you feel. This is the most honest thing I've ever seen you guys do. And I've been coming to a lot of meetings. So this is what we needed to hear. Some of you have been on this board for more than 20 years. So your commitment to this community is acknowledged. And there's no doubt about your dedication. But the way we've been working together, it's not working. The communication is poor. In the last 4 months, I've seen the trust on this board eroded away due to the lack of transparency and poor communication on some very large projects. Not just this one, but prior ones. Wouldn't it be good practice to provide the public documentations that are being considered for action prior to the meetings? This would reduce the need for open records requests. I have noticed more police presence at several town meetings and wondering why. You shouldn't be afraid of public response to the decisions you are making if those decisions are clearly communicated in advance and can be proven to be in the best interest of our community. You should be inviting public input instead of avoiding it. Your action to decrease vote count from 3 minutes to 90 seconds doesn't exactly send the message that you care about what the public is saying. And I know I wrote this before you all said what you had to say tonight. So again, I appreciate you finally sharing how you feel. We need to come together in ways to find ways to communicate, especially on these large projects. It's time to build trust as a community regarding decisions being made that have a huge impact on all of us. I'm asking that you do not sign tonight. I'm not saying don't sign ever, but let's pause, let's slow down. Let's put together a citizen group that can work with you. I'm like an attack dog when it comes to data. I'm a former math teacher. That's my bag. I will do anything for you. We want to help. Please let us. Thank you.
Minor,
Thank you for letting me speak to you. My name is Tom Miner. I live in the city of Beloit. And for several months, I've been trying to find out information and.
We need the address.
Pardon me?
Your address.
Oh, 1857 Arrowhead Drive.
Thank you.
Anyway, I've been searching for information and the city council, town boards and all, they can't say much. So I can't find out much from town boards and the government. I talked to some people that represent the data centers and that seemed to lowball the electrical consumption, water. So I finally got some sources that I can give you and I can give the people in the audience here that are pretty reliable. They're backed up by research, they're backed up by bibliographies and information about where they got this information from. One is the Ford School of Science and Technology from the University of Michigan. And you'll find a lot of information about data centers and how much water and electricity they use. You'll also have references as to where did they find this information out from. That's the Brookings Institute. And it's the PW Institute of Research. So I'm saying to people, there are some good sources. But you can't get it from going to a sales conference like we had at intermediate school, a tournament. That was interesting, but it was all go on side. So do some research, hope it works out.
Thank you.
Joey Strauss.
Gentlemen, you can talk loud, let's talk about that.
You turn it off and turn it back on.
It's supposed to be because they got messed up. You messed with to make them louder for everyone.
You're gonna have to speak loud.
My girls.
I know her. She knows my. All right. So is this off now?
Yep.
So you'll see tonight that I didn't come in my typical protester attire. Today I'm here as a community member, a neighbor, and a friend. I appreciate that your job and decisions aren't always easy or cut and dry. But I do hope that you'll do exactly what you promised when you accepted these positions, to work for the community and to make decisions that are truly supported by and in the best interest of the people you represent. As you consider projects of this magnitude, with the developers and infrastructure that comes with them, I ask that you look beyond fiscal gain and the promises being made. Listen to your residents, listen to your neighboring communities that are already living through these projects. Learn from their experiences before ours becomes the next cautionary tale, like Mount Pleasant. The residents have filed a class action lawsuit because of constant noise, sleep disruption, health effects, and diminished quality of life. Guys, imagine losing the peaceful enjoyment of your own home. Concerns have already been raised by the town of Beloit officials about the developer pushing back on contract language, including their own reimbursement agreement. If questions are already arising before a formal proposal has been submitted, you have to ask, why would the Turtle Township community expect anything different? And please, don't mistake the raw emotion and frustrations of your community for hostility.
They are the voices of the people who love this community, who are scared of losing what makes it home, and who are asking you to stand with them before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren Walsh.
Would it be possible for one of your microphones to be used over there? They're working?
No. Say plug in. We're ready to plug in over there. Design the mics.
I'm gonna try to talk loud. That's not gonna be too good. My name is Lauren Walsh. I live at 11940 South Maxworthy Road, Town of Turtle. I work as a family medicine physician and I am willing to help my community in any capacity that I'm able. I want to thank the board for their willingness to give their honest thoughts on your thought processes. That's something I feel like we need to hear. In regard to the Panattoni pre-development agreement, it might seem like the right thing to pursue for monetary reasons, and I understand that. I do not envy you guys at all. I'm asking you to take further back and decide if this is really something that needs to be pursued any further at this moment. If anything, it seems most prudent to think upstream and determine what you and we see as the future for Town of Turtle. You should have the open discussions with your neighbors and residents to whom you guys are spending your precious time to serve. We need to determine our community's needs and goals for the next 5, 10, 20 years, especially before we make any altering decisions. I personally would have a hard time trusting research funded by the company that is trying to do business with me. There's just too much potential for bias. They'll be funding the people writing the business contracts who we are expecting to protect our best interests. And that feels like a conflict of interest to me. Again, remember, you do not need to rush to make any movement with any potential developers, and you certainly do not need to feel like you're on the fence when this is our township. With the idea of annexation that was introduced tonight, our township needs time to reflect on what that could mean for us. Why don't you give us that time and have an open forum to find out our thoughts in a couple of weeks? Pause and have this open dialogue. Allow the citizens to help you through surveys, forming strategic goal development groups and planning board groups. We are all demonstrating that we want to be involved and are here to help each other through this process. Bring us together so we can stay Turtle strong.
Thank you. Chris Feldman.
I'm a business agent for Local 139, the operating engineers. I represent 11,600 members. Just today, I was on I oversee the data center in Beaver Dam, Project Wave. And that project's pretty neat. At peak, we had 100 operators out there and 30 apprentices right out of high school. You know, it's neat to see them being able to build, you know, a good career and have a good paying job and a good future, you know, one that has good health care, good pension, and provide for the families and put food on their table. I'm in favor of this.
What is that?
Oh, 1920 checkpoint, Ardell, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
I would if I could.
One bring on the career. Sorry. Steve Howland.
I'm Steve Holland. I live at 1617 Emerson Street in Beloit. I chair the Beloit League of Women Voters AI Data Center Study Group. But I'm not speaking for the league on this issue because we have not completed our study nor submitted it to the membership for review or and approval. However, the fact that the league approved a study shows that our concern at many levels and those concerns are linked. Concerns about the energy needed to power a center lead to concerns about water use and pollution as well as air pollution and those effects on the environment and climate and health, mental health, and the cost of those potential negative impacts. And costs lead to who bears them and who benefits and for how long. Is this the much needed future or a bubble that will burst and need to be cleaned up in 5 or 10 years? One of the reasons the league hasn't completed our study is that there are so many strings to unravel and evaluate. I urge the town of Turtle to thoroughly investigate and evaluate all dimensions of any projects and choose wisely when making decisions that affect the quality of life, not only for Turtle, but for the surrounding region as well. Thank you.
Thank you. John? Okay, Hector Rios.
Good evening, I'm Hector Rios, 2340 Pikeview Lane, Janesville, Wisconsin. I'm a business agent for the Carpenters, local 314. I represent about 2,000 members in this area. I think you should consider this reimbursement for Tony. I think this is a great opportunity. I work a lot with the schools. This will create a lot of jobs. I work with the schools and the kids that are trying to get careers, right? And this is a great opportunity. It's a job that will be for years, and they can start their career and then pretty much their apprenticeship program in there. I work with students in Beloit Turner and the surrounding areas. They're looking for great opportunities to start a job in the construction industry and in the trades. A lot of them have even, I oversee the Beloit Casino job, and they have started in there. They've been there for years, and then they're really thankful. They have a job closer home to actually be able to work in the area. Another thing, this is, how difficult it is to get grants from the state and all that. I think this will give you an opportunity for the community not to just break their taxes, but actually be able to sustain a lot of the firefighters and the police officers in here, in schools, all that stuff. Yeah, I think they're doing a great job. That's what I heard. So, thank you.
Thank you. Keith Hassel.
It's going to be a longer walk.
Hi, Keith Oswald, 7770 South Lathers Road, Town of Turtle. This is the fourth board meeting I've been to this week, or council meeting, and it's very interesting to contrast the differences. 2 meetings that I've been to this week really stress transparency and communications. One did not, and that's really what I've come to expect from this board. But tonight, you guys took a really nice baby step, and I appreciate that. Thank you. One question I have, amongst a few others, is with all the rhetoric from Panettone, why aren't they bringing us a community or people from a community who are just over the moon, excited and happy and ecstatic about the data center that they have humming away in their backyard? Because they don't exist. It's really nice that the landowner is here tonight to ensure us how great this is while he's counting his money. It's really great that the union folks who don't live here also support this. Thanks for that. If we rush into this, we're going to get hoodwinked, right? It's not about the money. It's about taking the time to make sure that we have the right information in front of us so that we can keep our seat at the table and we can talk in facts and data. Doesn't matter whether that takes 18 months or longer. If this is a great deal and this is good and everybody who's trying to sell it to us is proud of what they're trying to sell us, it'll still be here. I firmly believe that that's not the case, though. They want us to hurry up and make a decision before we have time to really evaluate this. I also believe that 600 acres is just the beginning. It's not the end. They're not gonna stop there. They're gonna, there is nothing but farmland east, west, and north of there. They're gonna gobble it up. It's not gonna be 600 acres, it's gonna be thousands of acres. So I understand the board's afraid of getting annexed. The city of Beloit, I assure you, I was there last night, they're under the same pressure, right? The same pressure as you guys are. The town of Beloit's under the same pressure you are. The town of Rock is under the same pressure you are. So why not start a dialogue with them, right? I agree, Larry Arfka's a jackass, right? But there's a brand new city manager there, right? Let's start a dialogue with them and let's find out what their intentions are before we let fear force us into a decision that we're gonna regret. Okay, all of us have worked hard for our property and our homes. We have worked hard for a quiet lifestyle in a rural setting. And yet, here we are widening roads and getting ready for development that we don't want. One more thing, this is our home. This is not a wasteland for out-of-state billionaires to have their way with. Don't let fear make your decision. Stand up, be strong, defend your community. It is what the people want. Thank you.
Tony Bradley.
Hi, my name is Julie Bradley. My family has lived at 1516 Bellhauer for 18 years. This address is across the road from Prairie Avenue, San Diego, part of the data center site, moving across the road. My husband and I love our small hobby farm. Our 9-year-old daughter loves it too. She plays outside with the animals every day. I have several animals to care for. My husband has a huge garden that my in-laws, who also live on the property, help him with. In the back portion of our land, my father-in-law, a long time ago, was a little cabin for my mother-in-law. She called it the little house on the prairie. And they often go out to it and sit on the little porch and enjoy the peacefulness out there. We cannot survive the disruption that data center construction would cause. We all have our health issues, but the farm helps us cope. If we couldn't use the outdoors, we'd be lost. According to what I've read, many of my animals will be affected, also causing agitation, infertility, and lower milk production. But please save us from this. Moving would be our only option. And none of us wants to leave. Especially my in-laws, who are in their 70s and 80s. The stress of being uprooted at their age, with their health conditions, is detrimental. I understand that this would be great jobs for people, but this is my home. Please don't let big tech force me and my family out of our home.
Judy Robson.
It's not working, so I'll try to talk to everyone. Well, I appreciate your comments earlier about the difficulty that you're facing, a billion-dollar company and the confusing facts, the pressure you're under, and the polling that's against you. You know, 60%, 70% of the community, not only Turtle, but across this state, is opposed to data centers for all of the reasons that you mentioned. The impact that they have on water use, the impact it has on the environment, the impact that it's having on citizens, you know, sort of tearing us apart. And I heard the three of you say, why don't we pause? You know, you are claiming that you're going to have all sorts of bills, attorney bills and bills that you have to pay for land reclamation and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Well, if you put a pause, then you put a pause on those bills as well. And that gives time for our community to get the facts and to appreciate where everyone is. Pennatonia has never built and does not have a running hyperscale data center. They have proposals, but they do not have one running. So we don't know what their track record is. They claim that they will have less pollution than the gravel. Lose less water than the gravel pit. How do they know? We don't have any statistics from them. So with all this confusion and all this hype, and you're up against a CEO that makes $4 billion. You're up against a $1 billion company that does not have a running data center. You are taking a gamble on the citizens. And quite frankly, the boundaries of this hyperscale data center don't end at the town of Turtle. There's an impact across this county. And I think you owe it to all of us to be able to just sit back, get the facts, understand, listen to the people, and then move forward. What's the rush? What's the harm? None. And why do I come on this beautiful summer day to stand here? Well, just one more thing, Roger. Why am I here? Because I want to tell my grandchildren that I stood witness and tried to stop this travesty on the environment and on the citizens of Rock County. And I hope when you have a seat at the table, Roger, that you won't be pushed in the corner either. You're up against it. Thank you.
Chris Kane.
Mr. Dean, 9436 West Highway 11. Okay, so I'm not really good at public speaking. Everybody's kind of taking my points away from me tonight. We'll say over the last couple months, me and my team talked to thousands of people right now. But it's the first time I've heard anybody throw this. And I realize it's people who are going to benefit financially. I understand that. My father was a union carpenter for 30 years. Well, I'll pass on what he told me. Don't sell your life. Don't sell your soul for the job. Amen. This, if you live here, take care of it. Right? And going forward, I'm going to be really brief here. The people are up here to represent you. This isn't a loud minority. This is the majority. If going forward, they vote to let this happen, I vote the wrong country. Because come the next election, there should not be a season.
Richard Minor.
All right, I'll try to look for PA deficiencies and talk loud enough. I made a list based upon what everyone's saying out here. I heard about a lot of costs.
Name and address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm at 1021.5 for Avenue Beloit. I'm just city, transitioning township right down the street from where this thing's supposed to be. So I'll be closer than almost every single Town Turtle resident that lives in Town Turtle. Okay.
What's his name? What's the name?
Richard Minor. He's got it on the sheet there. So I hear about all these costs, okay? Well, they're temporary. And if I heard the Jonathan Rock Roads correctly, there's gonna be reimbursement. So it's gonna come back. And what's worse, a temporary cost or permanent damage from all what this thing's gonna do to us? Aren't there some grants that can be used? And the city annexing versus permanent damage from something that's gonna come in. Well, if it comes in, I think the city's more likely to annex you because if they believe that all this money's gonna come to the data center, they're gonna want that money. But if it doesn't come in, there'll be less reason to annex you. I mean, they put out PFAS in the ground, in the air. I mean, they call those forever chemicals for a reason. That's not gonna go away. It's never gonna go away now by thousands of years. Listen to the lady talk about the state statutes you can use to kind of postpone this thing for a while. Why not? The lawyers and not having experience on it, well, no kidding. I mean, you put the town of Turtle and the town of Beloit, the city all together. These companies with all their teams of lawyers, they're gonna run circles around. It's gonna be like the NFL versus the Pee Wee League. These corporations will take and they will take and will take. They'll promise.
but they will cost a lot of money. Listen to these people that have been through this in other places. Make a lake out of the place. You could charge admission. People would pay for that, you know? Every property value is gonna drop. That's about it. Thanks for the time.
Leonard Duncan. Hargraves.
Fifty to 11 West Moss, Beloit, Wisconsin, 53511. I find it interesting. I am pro-union, don't get me wrong, but these people don't live by us. Let's be honest about it, okay? They don't. They're coming from Edgerton. They're coming. Yeah, I'm gonna be 3 miles from this thing. I am worried every night. It is keeping me up at night because I am scared I have no water. My water's coming straight out of the ground from my horses and my equine therapy facility that is treating veterans. I am worried. I am scared, okay? I invite anybody, if they really want the data center, we'll build it right by you. That's what we'll do, okay? I think we need a moratorium. Please just slow this down. Just do a little research. You know, I would rather pay a little bit more in taxes than being charged $1 billion in electricity down the road. Because that is where this is going. I know so many people that are doing this is happening to them. One's in South Carolina, one's in Georgia. These are my clients that I deal with. They are crying. They don't have, they had to turn all of the electricity off. They didn't have enough because the data center was taking it. They don't have any water. Their water has all of a sudden become tainted. Please, please consider this. This is our home. I moved here 19 years ago and everybody thought I was crazy. I moved from Roscoe. People are like, why'd you go to Beloit? Because it's a great place to live. They just passed in the city of Beloit this morning. Or tonight, I was there. 125 homes at $450 million on Phil Howard Road. Now, who is going to buy them? Just my question. You guys take care.
Yeah. Brittany Keys.
No.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Brittany Keys. I'm a physical therapist, a resident of the city of Beloit, a former city councilor of the city of Beloit. I understand the difficult decisions that come before you, how different proposals can be dropped and how you're expected to make decisions very quickly, and how the information that you've received is heavily biased by the developer. I am here to ask you to turn down the money, because how are you going to walk away once you accept $1 from them? I'm also here with the facts. I am a health provider that has traveled the state of Wisconsin to speak about the health impacts of hyperscale data centers. One of the big things that's very concerning is that developments are moving faster than research, but we do have research. I have extended information to you, but I haven't heard back from any. But I am here to be a resource, and I have brought a resource. One of the big things that needs to happen is a moratorium, which you can do when there is a threat to public health written by a health provider. This is what I'm bringing to you today. You are going to each receive a copy of the threat to public health that these developments will pose to your community and your neighbors. We have significant issues with air pollution. How many brownfields do we have here? What is our water quality? I'm also an athletic trainer who has worked with the kids in Clinton, the town of Beloit. I work with the kids that have asthma attacks. I work with kids that can't breathe. My daughter from City of Beloit, 6 out of 22 kids for Girls on the Run needed inhalers to run their first 5K. We already have a pollution problem.
You need to start to sum up.
Thank you. When I went into healthcare, I went in there to do no harm. We stand by ethics when we serve our community. We are here to do good. And I want everyone to think about that when they go to work every day. It doesn't stop at health providers, and it certainly applies to elected officials. We have research, and you are going to be issued the public health threat. And we are asking you to pause and engage with the experts. Pianatoni had no resources, no citations on those presentations, but I am bringing you those. And I ask you that you continue to seek out the professionals that have the facts. And when they said Beaver Dam is neat, I have contacts to the neighbors. The water in the church adjacent is brown. There is a neighbor, a 90-year-old who lived on the farm his entire life. He had to move out because the water went dry. Before that happened, he got sick and was in the hospital because of the contamination. DNR permits do not keep us safe. I appreciate that. I appreciate my time. I also want to say this is a sign for my son, my 5-year-old who didn't come. And he really hopes that you continue to lead with love and the values that we all have.
Carolyn Hellstrom. Carolyn?
He's right here.
Caroline, and I live in Beloit, and I don't want this because I already have a headache every day, and I don't want a bigger one because there's a data center 3 miles away from me. So I don't think we need a data center really at all. I know a lot of kids that have asthma. Me and my brother don't have asthma, and I don't want it. So I'm counting on a bunch of other people's, but also including you, to not vote yes. Thank you.
That concludes citizen comment. Next item on the agenda is the minutes. We have to before you from last month's meeting. I will move for their adoption. Please do. Minutes and those items. On motion, during discussion.
I had a question on 24. Discussion and possible action. I could be completely wrong in this, but I do not remember that the town is required to review applications for land divisions. I don't remember that discussion as part of that, the cost sharing. Am I right or wrong? But she does great at it now. I was just, I don't know the fact behind it, forgive me for saying that, but I'm just quoting Attorney Michael Davis on that. Was that part of the trust? I don't remember talking, so.
I believe when I introduced the cost sharing group, I explained that if the developer or the landowner brings forth a land division application or rezoning application, as whatever that case may be, that the town board has a duty to review those, whether or not they're going to approve it. And I explained that, so therefore, even if you were to say no, you still have clauses that you have to go through the steps. So you can't just throw in the ground filing and ignore it. I think that's what.
And that's what I meant if I read it not good, let me know.
Any other discussions? You know,
Bill Brewer,
Yes.
Tim Sanders,
Yes.
Chris Welsh,
Yes.
Tim Cobb,
Yes.
Roger Ainsley.
yes. Next on the agenda, item number 10, approval from invoicing. You have the invoices before you. I'll make a motion to approve the invoices.
Second.
The motion second. Approve the invoices. Any discussion?
Rollins, is that for 1 month or how many months? I'm gonna have to.
That should be for 1 month, but that, I believe that includes costs for like, for Bryce's time.
Yes.
This or prosecution. That's not just like. Our. Traditional.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Bill Brewer,
Yes.
Tim Sanders,
Yes.
Chris Walsh, Tim Cobb,
Yes.
Roger Ainsley.
Yes. That gets us to the treasurer's report, please.
Treasurer's report is in front of you. The checking account balance at this time is $20,242.74. The money market balance is $616,406.39. Have you any questions?
No, I
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Bill Brewer, Tim Sanders,
Yes.
Chris Walsh,
Yes.
Pat.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I just confirm, Bill, did you say yes? Okay.
Item 12, planning commission report. Planning commission chair, yes, he is.
We had a meeting last month for a land combination, Chair Lakeman, both on that tonight. Right now, we're going
When you met last month, Lakeman had the board say comes with a recommendation to approval of the board. Okay,
it was exchange of paper.
okay. Very good. That it?
Yep.
Brief report. Thanks. Item number 13. 13A. Ben, you're on the hot seat here. Discussion of possible action on first equipment compliance review.
Town board bought a couple of swing sets and we need to update our playgrounds to install them.
Okay.
And to do them updates, it's gonna be roughly $6,000. To make them compliant.
That covers the removal of the old stuff and then the
Removal of the old swing set and
the garbage.
which we've already done because it was unsafe.
Okay,
Removing the railroad tie down there. Because they're rotten. And then purchasing rubber mulch to mix with the gravel for the fall protection for the swing set.
okay. And with the needed materials are, you said about $6,000?
Yep. They were 91. I'll make a motion, we approve this.
Second. Motion, Bill, second from Tim to approve it. Any discussions? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bill Brewer.
Yeah.
Tim Sanders.
Yes.
Chris Walsh.
Yes.
Tim Cobb.
Yes.
Roger Ainsley.
Yes.
That gets us to 13B. Discussion and possible action on fostering San Antonio development regarding the potential data center project.
I make the motion to wait this over until next month. And I'm doing that because I would like to see a final version, not a red line one or yellow one. I want the final.
Second.
We have a motion with a second to carry it over to next month. Is there any discussion? Was this sent to the board?
I sent the red line to you and Chris and never got any.
Did we send it to the board?
I would, did we? Yes. That was not in my packet today. in the packet, though. I thought I was waiting for a final, but this was emailed, yes.
So it was emailed to the board, when it's. Yep.
But not a final version, a red line version. Right, it was the red line. And this is way too important.
Correct, and the reason I gave you a red line is to show you the changes that were made based on the comments last meeting, or last month, I apologize. Because it's easier to track those changes, to track the change, to see the change.
I agree.
I mean,
But I would like to see, unless somebody disagrees with any of the red lining, we should have an agreement.
well. I guess it's where it's very common for us to see the red lines that we can typically look at, which change documents. The final version would have, obviously, the language that is struck, not there, language that's underlined in red is there, that's the included language. I mean, want to see a black line that's that together, but it's something that's changing is.
Judy. Well, the font, and then I do have once. Do this, I have a question still not heard. One, maybe. Jimmy.
And when did the email go out to the board inviting them to come and meet individually with the town attorney at the town hall?
June 18th, but I can verify that.
So the substance, we have a motion with a second, our discussion. The substance of the document is not going to change. The color of the ink is going to change. Do I understand you right?
Correct.
So as far as some of the blank spaces where we have to fill in dates and things like that, I don't see that to be an issue.
I did confirm Pantone is a California corporation, so that's how that would get filled in. Yeah, the rest of it is as it is. I will, well, you have a motion and a second on the table, so.
June 29th, but I apologize, so June 29th, the invite to meet with your some people.
So all board members were sent an email inviting you to come, if you had any questions on the documents, that we would have the town attorney here to meet with you. It's a disappointment to me that not one person took advantage of that, and we wait till this moment and claim we never got it. Or it was emailed. We bought laptops to communicate. And nobody ever saw it. Nobody ever wanted to meet with the attorney. The language isn't gonna change. I think this is, this motion is ridiculous.
Well, okay, Roger, wow. I thought this was not included in the packet on purpose,
It was sent to you by email.
but that was last month. That wasn't, I thought we were gonna clean this up. I didn't have comments because I was told I was superfluous. I still don't like that language. I think that if you want to hand it off an affiliate, I still think 100% liability lies.
That's what it has.
That's why you said I was superfluous.
Well, the language, just for clarification, it does say, sorry.
Shall assume all obligations under this agreement in writing. The developer shall remain liable for all payment obligations.
Correct, right, that's the only obligation of the developer is to make payments under this, so they are remaining liable for the full obligation.
So that's what I thought. And I thought that when it was not in my packet, I texted Christina and said we're missing this agreement. Today, yeah, this afternoon. And I thought, wow, that's on purpose. So that's why I'm asking you to play it over. We don't have to hurry to do this. Right? Right over, get it right, get it fast.
Yeah.
Is there any other discussion?
Just so you know.
Roll call vote.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah. That's fine.
Chris has made a motion, it's been seconded by Tim, that they want to carry it over till next month, so that we can have a final draft of the agreement. That product. As the attorney indicated, the language is gonna change, the color of the print is gonna change. So, there you have it. So, anything else, Bill? Yeah? Anybody? Roll call vote.
Bill Brewer.
Hold on.
No, wait a second. Oh, wait a minute. No. No. No.
Chris Walsh,
Yes.
Tim Cup,
Yes.
Roger Antman.
No. I'll make a motion that we pass the cost reimbursement agreement that's in front of us so that we can go about our due diligence. We have a motion with a second. Discussion. So,
I guess, then why in the world did we put the last item on our agenda?
because you asked for it,
Well, what I asked for was an 18-month moratorium.
what you asked for. What you asked for, Chris, in an email to me on June 15th. That you were interested in having a closed meeting with the board to discuss large scale land development projects. And how they fit into the comprehensive plan. And you sent this to me in an email, I have it right here, I have it printed out on June 15th, on June 10th. And I'll say what I have to say, then you can say what you have to say. On June 10th, we passed a resolution adopting public participation procedures for our comprehensive plan to increase public participation. We passed that, and on the 15th, 5 days later, you asked me to schedule a special closed session meeting to keep the public out. You explained that one. And I said no, just like I said no.
That's what we.
I asked all you not to cheerleader, you didn't listen to that, so just hold on. So Chris, you're the one who wanted a closed session meeting, and I said it was wrong. I even included the attorney who agreed, and you said you didn't agree with the attorney.
Yeah.
I'm trying to so when we do the comprehensive planning, like we've done in the past, we spend 60 hours of time. And the public is invited to every one of those workshops. So,
I sent,
and you're right, I did not put it on the agenda for a moratorium.
so I sent that email out and I requested a closed session because I felt the board needed to be able to discuss a much broader picture.
Right.
Not just a data center. And I thought it was too difficult in front of all of you, or all of us, to be able to discuss this. I understood. I don't like it, but I understood when Roger, the attorney, said, by law that you can't do it. And I wondered, how are we ever gonna be able to talk to figure this out? That's why I sent it. It had nothing to do with hiding a darn thing from any of you. I wanted to be able to talk. My request to Christina, the clerk, was to put an 18-month moratorium. And instead, my email was used that requested that we discuss large-scale developments. All large-scale developments, not just a data center. Because we seem to have put that horse before the cart, in my estimation.
Yes.
Board members is a list of items that from a number of sources that I looked at, there are things that we need to be able to spend time on and look at. Public infrastructure improvements. We have no idea what we're gonna need going down the line, and we're gonna need assistance in that. Electric generation transmission lines, wastewater monitoring. We already know some of that, but we don't have a clue what it's going to entail. Private well protection, quality of life assurances for neighbors if they want to buy out and leave. Public safety equipment funding. I talked to both fire and police, and it's bigger than just what we would need. And I understand that that's a difficult one to put together. Tax-based guarantees, road repairs, electric power, backup power sources, liquid cooling, closed loop systems.
Them pay it.
These are the things we need to research, and that's why we're talking about taking the agreement for them to pay those costs. So please.
Yeah.
Stormwater management, noise mitigation, decommissioning and reclamation guarantees, cooperative labor agreements, so the spill gets filled with skilled labor and there's no interruptions. What is the financial impact? This is not an all-inclusive list. Today, Mr. Brewer and I drove down to DeKalb, and we went to a metadata center in DeKalb. And we drove all around the property. We were not, Bill couldn't even get out of the car. He was gonna ask the question and they ordered him back in the car. We could not step foot on the property, which I understand. But we wanted to see what this looked like. Before we got to talk to anybody as we drove around, there was a farmer getting out of his combine. So we went back. I didn't think of it at the moment when I did it, but I actually parked the car so he couldn't leave with the combine. And he got up and talked to us, and we asked him, what's it like being by this data center? How loud is it? And his answer was, I farm right up against their fence and I don't hear a sound. So I've had, please, I've had enough. So we went around, stopped at the guard shack, talked to them. Stood right 100 yards from the building and I could not hear a sound.
What about
The sound
they
that
have no
you hear,
generator for Washington?
that's not helpful at all.
Go to Wyoming.
That's not helpful at all. So there was zero sound
Because
coming
it's
from that
nuclear.
building.
Because
Zero.
it's nuclear. It's not.
So I asked the guy, I said, so you never hear a sound. The one sound they hear is when the diesel generators start once a month that they use for emergency backup. That's the only sound. When I stood there, I did not hear a sound coming from the building. And the tires on the cars that were driving behind us were louder than anything we could hear coming from the building. So when I hear all this hype about go here and go there and all this noise, right? I went to the data center for the purpose of hearing what the noise was, right? So I'm not gonna buy all this business that you see on Facebook that somebody wants to sell you their book of goods, right? I'm gonna go look at it myself. That's why Bill and I went down there.
What about the research and
So-
CCC?
That's why, to me, it's important that we take the opportunity to get the funding, to do the research, and I don't care how we do it. One of the folks Chris recommended, as I'm understanding, is a very good source from the University of Wisconsin. Okay, that's somebody we need to take a look at. We need to be able to commission our own studies. And it's not whether I trust anybody or not, but I want the study that I'm commissioning with the people that I'm having do it. I want a sound study done. What is the sound today? So I know that we can establish a point that say it can't be above this sound level. The water usage, all of these things, everything on this list is something that we have to study. And this is not an all-inclusive list. But we can't do it if we don't say that we're gonna take the opportunity to get the funding. Because quite frankly, we can't afford that funding to do that. there's no obligation. There is no risk. We're simply gonna receive money to fund these opportunities that they're going to provide. And so that we can go and get these studies done, so that we have our own independent studies, because they have no say over who we pick. And if at any point in time, as we're going through this, that we're not satisfied with what we're getting for answers, if we're not satisfied, if we say we need this, we require this, and it's a no, we can always say no. It still has to go through, still has to go through our entire process here, and by the way, at any point in time they wanted to, they could submit a proposal that has to go to the planning commission and be vetted just like any other proposal, just like a proposal for county materials, for STE, for anything else that we've done. So there's nothing different about that process. What's different about this is that the scope is so huge that we need to take our time, look at who we can use for resources and commission those resources and do the studies we need.
The scope is even more huge than the.
So you're out of order. You are out of order.
It's larger than anything that we have. It's larger than anything that we have in our zoning ordinances. And I just want you guys to remember that.
Well, for those reasons that I cited, that it's important that we look at this Fox agreement and say that we're interested in doing our research and hiring the professionals we want. Not who Panattoni, not who anybody else has done, the ones that we want. That's the reason that we've got to take a look at this. And we can pack the room full of folks who have a lot of emotion. We all can get emotional. That's fine. We have to get down to the facts. Exactly what are we looking at? And that's why we need to bring these people in.
I would agree with you. And a month ago, I was the one that went after that agreement to get it right for Turtle.
Yep.
There was nobody else doing that. You were arguing with me, but after,
If I was explaining to you what like.
and after that, what I realized was this is Turtle Township. These people are saying, no, I represent these people.
Yes.
If you truly believe we can have this facility in our township and manage it, you've got to think way bigger.
Another $20 to my tax.
Anybody else?
Amen. I'll put in 100.
Okay,
Just a second. You know, and I will concur with points by both individuals, but I will also say, there's no obligation. People have insinuated I'm a yes vote to let them come in. No, I'm not. But I want the information. I want to control who I get the information from. I want to make sure that they are fair and they are who we want them to be. If we were to go out and have to hire somebody or trust their experts, I don't trust anybody. I trust who I can talk to. I trust who I can see. If we're paying the bill for that, then I trust that. I have proposed to Roger, and I think it did come up a couple times today. I think we should really look hard at having individuals come forth and be part of this group that vets the information that comes back. Whether you're for it, against it, or whatever that might be, I welcome people that are against it. Because from that standpoint, you are going to put a harder eye than somebody that's for it. That's my recommendation, but if we don't take the first step, Panattoni could come in tomorrow and apply and start the permitting and everything that goes with that. And we are hand tied to a certain degree. There is not a lot that we can do to fight that, and we would be steamboat. Much like Chris's, we're Little Turtle, that is correct. But we're very tough. You guys sitting in this room are showing your commitment. If we find out that the information we get is not conducive to a positive decision on this, I'm all in on a no. I am. If it shows that we filter through everything and all the data comes back in a positive manner, well, then I'm going to consider a yes. But for people to sit here and make the assumption that if I vote yes on this amendment, that I'm an automatic yes vote for Panatone, you're absolutely incorrect from that standpoint. I have very close friends, they look out their kitchen window at Panatone. They said, vote yes for this. In a tearful conversation, he said, vote yes for this, because if you guys don't pass that, he said, I am gone. I am done. At least if the town of Turtle has a seat, and Roger, you use that term too much. But if we have a voice in the room, or if we have a way, whether we prove them wrong, hey, that's more powerful. And we did it on their dime. That's a win-win. If for whatever reason we can't do that, then that's going to be even tougher. But if we just turn our backs and say it's common, and it's just a matter of how, do we kick the can down the road, or we face them hard up? We find our people, we take their money, we get people in this room together, and we find out the truth together. We find out the facts, because I struggle very hard, and I appreciate all the data that we've gotten from the individuals, and I've continued. Last meeting, this meeting, I have a whole litany of notes that I go back and research after the meeting. But I struggle either way. But I want to know the facts. I want to know the facts. And the other problem too is, like we have said, if we don't do it, Panatone is going to be aggressive, and they're going to do that. We are not going. That we're, and let's say we find the data, and the data says it's going to do this, this, and this. The gentleman from the League of Women Voters, and boy, that interests me. What have you found out? What do you know? I called him to be fairly neutral. I hope. What have you got? Can you share that with us? Can you give us that information that we can use it to make a decisive decision? And you know what? If we find out all the negatives, well, we're blazing the path for the other towns or the city of Wood. Okay, this is what the town of Turtle sees. We say no. How are you guys going to now approve that? Because we found out the negatives or pull back the curtain. That's my opinion.
There are other townships out there that are taking their money already. You guys research that?
Do you have anything else? Anything else? Roll call.
Real quick, can I make a couple comments, quick?
Sure.
So again, just to clarify what this does, because it sounds like you guys understand it, but I just want to be sure. This has, it's a contract, right? Contracts have obligations, performance obligations. That's how contracts. The towns, let me start with that town. The developer's obligation is to deposit funds with the town. Town can use to do the research, to do to find the facts that you guys have fought for. The residents have asked you to, right? I mean, residents have asked you to look into this. That cost, that takes money. That's what this agreement. That's Panatone's obligation. Town's obligation is to provide invoices, like I tried to explain last, right? To provide invoices to show the costs that were expended, not the studies, not the professional things. That's it. That's all this does. This doesn't give them a, get out of jail free card, bypass the zoning ordinance, bypass the planning and zoning commission, anything like that. It doesn't obligate you guys to give them any green lights. In fact, it gives you more clarity to give them a red light. You guys are stewards of this township as the township explained. We've heard a lot of negatives today. We've heard a lot of, this is why you shouldn't do it. What if in 50 years that was the wrong answer? Right? And I'm not saying, no, please stop, let me talk, okay? Listen to you guys, let me talk. If that's the wrong answer, then you failed the town in 50 years. But if you do the research and you have evidence to support that it's not the right answer, then future generations will look at the board and say, thank God they did the research and got the facts. That's what this allows you to do, okay? So it doesn't do it doesn't give them the green light, that's anything. Like I said, it doesn't obligate the town to anything other than do the research. So that's what you're voting. It doesn't actually obligate you to research. If you do, it gives you an opportunity to.
Excuse me, board members. May I ask a question?
Go ahead.
My question is, we understand that there is so much to go over and to get answers for. Would it not work to have a moratorium? So you have that space of time to take all of this stuff into consideration? What's the?
Where are the funds gonna come from to do the research during that work?
Well,
That's what this does. This.
I didn't know what.
What's the?
All of this is- Whatever you know, what I'm saying, if that is something that could be.
This is not, this doesn't,
Sometime.
this is not mutually exclusive of a moratorium. This allows, I've heard you guys to say, take time, do the research,
Right.
understand this thing. This pays for them to do. That's what I'm trying to explain. is This allows them to do.
So,
Thank you.
anything else? Okay,
I have a question.
what's your question?
The question is, rather than have somebody else who's got a vested interest in this project pay for the studies, maybe the townspeople would be willing to be taxed to pay for it.
Yeah, why don't they put?
Yeah, why not? Why do you decide that?
I appreciate the question. We're gonna move on. Any other?
Bill Burr? Bill Burr, can you repeat that?
Yeah, you vote.
Tim Sanders,
Yes.
Chris Walsh, Tim Cop,
No.
Roger Anglin.
Yes. That disposes of the matter of 13B, new business, 14A. I'll take Bill on the match.
Like, so.
They listed a Lakeman.
Guys, throw your free.
It doesn't. Also the second, any discussion?
Paul Roger.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Tim Sanders,
Yes.
Chris Walsh, Tim Cop.
Yeah.
Roger Anglin.
Yes. Item 14B, discussion about project for adoption of Wisconsin State Statute 305
You just had a step back, so if you want to.
Okay, you need to cheat for that one. Okay, to see, discussion possible action, consideration of an ordinance meeting fire inspection requirements for potential running. Fire chief.
Here's Chuck.